one of the things that Kant says about these moral rules, these categorical imperatives, is that he's not making them up, and he's not pulling them out of thin air. That these things are already embedded in our ordinary moral outlooks. He's just bringing them out. This is why this section of the work is called something like the transition from the ordinary common sense conception of morality to the philosophical. All he's doing is bringing out what's already there in our ordinary moral sense and giving us a philosophical grasp of conscious grasp of what's already there. I remember that, okay, so the idea is that whatever I do, my maxim of action, my rule of action should be capable of serving as a law for everyone. So he says at the bottom of page 2, I guess, I do not therefore need any far-reaching penetration to discern what I have to do in order that my will may be morally good. Inexperienced in the course of the world, incapable of being prepared for all its contingencies, I only ask myself, canst thou also will that thy maxim should be a universal law? If not, then it must be rejected. So I mean, it's a way of testing our actions. Of course, it doesn't give us the answer between two, what's the best thing to do when you have two options, both of which pass the test. But at least it tells you you need to rule out anything which can't be universalized. Any action whose maxim, and maxim just means rule, cannot become a universal law. So he says, thus then, without quitting the moral knowledge of common human reason, we have arrived at its principle. And although, no doubt, common men do not conceive it in such an abstract and universal form, yet they always have it really before their eyes and use it as a standard of their decision. So really what Kant is doing with morality is basically saying that morality is already there. It's built into our reason, and we employ it. We do actually employ it in the sense that, let's say that the first version of the categorical imperative that we're talking about here, it seems to me to have a lot to do with fairness. That is, whatever you do, you should be willing to make the example of your action a rule for everybody. And if you're not, you're just making an exception for yourself. You're a hypocrite, or you're just being fundamentally unfair in the sense that you're holding everyone else to a standard that you yourself are not willing to abide by. That's what Kant really sees himself as doing. And we'll see when we get to the second version of the categorical imperative having to do with respect for persons, that is a similar sort of thing.